will tell you, I will guarantee you better results in your life financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, on every level, because that's God's promise. That's God's promise. And I believe it with all my heart through the word that God has commanded us to yoke up with our wives and not be unequally yoked. And you thought that was spiritual. Unequally yoked means to do the work. And we need to empower our wives to do the work, not give them a crutch or not give them a get out of work free card. Like I know what happens. It happened to me. Men that we believe, well, we need to, our wives are the weaker vessel and we need to kind of coddle them a little bit and we need to, as in the sense like give them a day off or give them, they don't have to get up and do Epic 30 with us because, they're tired. Listen, man, that's not empowering. That's enabling, really. And women don't want that. And women don't need that. And women were doing just fine without us before we came along. They were powerful. In my case, my wife, when I think back, she was working three jobs, y'all. Three, three. Two, she was getting paid for. One, as a mother, coming home and taking care of her children. And so this was before we met and before we came together. She literally was working two jobs. One as a server, one at a home for abused and neglected children. Weekends, nights, like she was hustling, man. And then I come along and I'm like, well, you can just be a stay-at-home wife. Not that that's bad, but it's this thing about like, oh, that's empowering my wife to just come home and be home and stay home and not have to do anything. It's almost like a feeling of being barefoot and pregnant, right? Just keep them pregnant, right? It's a really interesting thing, and it's an old way of thinking. I'm not here to tell you that them being pregnant and being a stay-at-home mom is bad, wrong, or anything like that. I'm just talking about the thinking that we want to address. Empowering our wives, empowering women is what they want. And we're in a time, in a season where God is bringing equilibrium. We had several years here, and we're still fighting it a lot, where women were dominating the men. Women were like women's movement, women's lib, and women's voting, and women's equality, and women's da 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 da. And then, men have always been kind of like the machismo dominating the women, and women just serve the men, right? There's a lot of that. Look, I come from Hispanic. And I think it's very similar to the Amish culture, even like the men say women, the women stay home barefoot and pregnant and cooking all the time, making tortillas and making tortillas and bimberos, burritos and tacos and making the food, and the men are out working, and it's like that's the thing, machismo, right? That's the Mexican way. Where's the machismo? Ho, ho, ho. And it's really interesting to me and fascinating that this is the role that has happened and again, women are like, we're not putting up with this anymore. Like, we're gonna go to work. We're gonna outwork you, man. We're gonna hustle. If we can give birth to babies, we can work and we can run businesses and we can do it better than you. And I'll tell you, in a lot of ways, women have done well, very, very well when it comes to education. And think about it. This is a whole nother thing. If you didn't know this, man, that like women get put down when it comes to even education. Like, they can't do math, they're not smart enough. Like, who do you think created that whole thought process? Men teachers, boys are smarter than girls. Like, but the truth is, women have intellectual brains that are very, very powerful. They can process things at different levels than we can. They're more sensitive spiritually and tapped into emotions better. Like, it's really interesting how women have come up and like really started to dominate the men. And we see like all these events, right? Women events and women's leadership and women da 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 fear, faith over fear, and women leading it. And like, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. And then we got all these men's events, da, 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 and you hardly see marriage empowered. And that's one of the things that Chantel and I are very, very passionate about. Empowering each other, yoking. What does it look like? Like, this is Chantel and I have worked hard. And believe me, I know it's hard work, man. To empower your wife is hard work. And to keep her, because like if again, I know normally women are more outspoken, and I know I'm a little different. I'm the more outspoken one in our relationship, and typically it is true. Like with statistically, women in the English world, maybe not so much in the Amish, maybe seriously not so much in the Hispanic world, where my background is, but in the English world, like women speak way more than men. They use their words like I think it's 10 times more than men do typically. And so you got this data and statistics out there of that whole situation. So women just talk, 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 right? And men are like deer in the headlights, staring at her while she just talk, 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 talk. And men will just usually be like, so we've got this woman dominant thing, and now I believe God is calling us to level this out. That it's you really about yoking. That's why I do these visual things so you can see. I love what Chantel says. It's not about jockeying for position. That doesn't work when you're yoked up. You have to work together, in tandem, in sync, in the flow, if the yoke is going to be effective. It's so powerful to watch and observe how the yoke works. And coming from the Amish and the Mennonite that are used to working with horses, you know this better than the English, how important the yoke is and what that does to empower the team of horses or two horses, right? Or four horses or six horses, right? I'm fascinated by like the old West, right? And the wagons that were pulled by six horses, a team of horses, especially like for the banks, right? When they're taking the money cross country because they could outrun single horses by themselves because there's six a team of horses, right? And it's super powerful to see that utilizing the yoke. So empowering our wives is a very powerful thing. And it's not about trying to figure out, well, jockeying position. She's trying to dominate me and I'm trying to dominate her. And then it does. It's not pretty when that stuff starts happening. The yoke is the equalizer. What does that mean then? To equalize. Well, we're on a journey, Chantel and I, um, to create this powerful thing of yoking. Matter of fact, it's the first company we've ever done together. We just purchased a company January 31st, for those of you that don't know. And Chantel closed the deal. She was the closer. She got the documents signed. She was the finalized all the terms. And it's one of the best. Literally, I'm not just saying this about my wife. It's real. The terms and the deal is phenomenal. One of the best deal we've ever had. Best terms, incredible opportunity for us, and just phenomenal what she did. And so again, I was willing to step back and say, "You do it. You got what it takes." And she shares a story on one of our lives. She shared this, and it's the little subtle things, man. Like I said to her just before we are going to bed, I said, "Babe, I'm so glad we're working on this deal together, talking about this new company we just bought, Nesbitt Repairs." And I said, because the company's going to be, and I was literally like saying it softly to her ear before, the company's going to be so much better with you involved. Because typically I take the lead. Typically I'm like the CEO and I'm in charge and da, da, da. I make the rules and I make the standards and I make the processes and systems and flow. But I was gone. I was there to do the due diligence on the company, get the numbers. Is this a good deal? Yes. And then Chantel stepped in because I went to Mexico to kind of give you guys the scenario. She stepped in and didn't skip a beat. Matter of fact, did better than I did because I tend to be too aggressive. It's real. She's always the one helping temper me. Imagine that, man. I'm a lion, like, and I will burn stuff up, burn shit up, like, because the lion is like a representation of fire, if the element with the elements involved, and the ox is the water, right? Jesse's more of an ox, and definitely has a better skill of yoking, first of all, and better skill of natural skill of even going with the flow, being able to take shape of different things, right? You put water in this can, it's going to take the shape of this can. You dent the can, it still takes the shape, right? That's the beautiful thing of water and the element of water, but that's like an ox. They are easygoing. They're strong. Don't get me wrong. They're powerful. Talking about the different types of personalities. And then you got the eagle, the dreamer that soars, which is like air. Air's hard to grab, hard to hold down, right? They just want to soar. They want to fly and they want to dream. But we are made in Father's image, the three faces. And then we are the fourth one, the face of man. Super powerful to understand this is our identity that Father created in us. But why am I bringing this up? Because again, Chantel is definitely by nature more of an ox than I am by nature. So she definitely, and as a woman, this is where empowering a woman. It's like, babe, I'm so glad you're involved in this company. It's going to do so much better because you are a part of it. She said when she went to bed that night, it just opened her mind up, like me saying those words. And I didn't realize it was going to have that kind of impact. I know I wanted her to be a part of it. I knew I wanted her, but literally when I was going to Mexico and the deal wasn't closed yet, I thought we'd get it closed, but it wasn't. She had to finish the terms, writing, finish up the contract. And I supported her in it from Mexico, doing some of the, you know, documentation and paperwork. But she finished it. She finalized the terms and she got the deal done where it was signed, done January 31st. Way to finish strong. Excuse me, December 31st. And so closing out the year with an amazing deal. But the reality was, I also trusted that you can do this. So she literally went and worked with the previous owner 3 days, learning how to do the process, connecting with him, building that relationship. She's a master at that. I've learned so much from her. Men, that's the other thing. These are some key elements. Are you missing this by my story? This is all part of how to empower our wives. So if you're missing out, I'm sorry. Play the recording and learn by example. I'm trying to give you a story so you can learn by example. But I left. I knew this was a big deal. I knew we wanted to close this. I knew we had a great opportunity here to be able to take on this legacy and this business, this 50 plus year old business. But I also knew my wife could handle it. I trusted her. And she did, like a champ. And I am willing to learn from her. Man, are you willing to say that? That your wife is your mentor? Have any of you ever uttered any words like that? Because again, what is that doing? I'm all powerful. I'm Carlos and I got it all figured out. So, like, I want to learn from my wife. Oh, whoa, wait, what? Equally yoked? Is that what God meant by that? That I can learn from her? She can learn from me. I can learn from her. She can learn from me. She'll hear things better than I will. And I'll hear some things better than she will. And then we come together and yoke. That's empowerment, men. And if your ego's too big to be able to say to your wife that I can learn from you and I love and appreciate you mentoring me, especially like communication, we can own that stuff and say, you know what? I need help learning how to communicate. I need help learning how to validate. It's not natural. It's a skill, man. It is. And to have empathy. Women are better at it than us normally. I know there's different cases, but I'm saying in general. So are you willing to honor your wife that way and empower her? And yes, I know there's single guys that are on this, but again, it's a principle and an understanding of honoring a woman, empowering her. Because when you do, you win. You win big. Like I said, it's the greatest deal we've ever closed in the history of our marriage. And it's like just beginning. So then what else did I do? Writing up the contract, I put her as co-CEO. It's not me, the CEO. And by the way, it's not her. And part of that is because she didn't want it. But it's like I did it anyways because she is that valuable. And guess what? She's taken this company. And I'm even stepping back and I tell everyone that works for us, hey, I'm interviewing you. I'm talking you through things that we want to implement at this company. But the bottom line is she's the boss. What she says goes. She's first. Seriously. If she tells you to do something, it overrides what I tell you to do. Man, do you have a big enough, like, do you have too big, I should say, of an ego to be able to say something like that? Empowering our wives, but it's got to be real. And I literally told a client, or not a client, one of our employees today this, and I said, so literally, if she tells you something and you're working on a project for me, you drop it and go do what she says because she truly is CEO and I'm more of a supportive role. Part of it is because I've got other companies I'm running and working on and things that I'm developing and I'm helping to create the foundation for this new company, website, and working with our vendors and things and all the kind of stuff underneath. But I love empowering her. And she's, oh my goodness, she's amazing. She's handling the day to day and the operation. She's a true CEO. And guess what? She's done this stuff before. It's not new to her. We did it in our old company. However, she was more of a, a helper to me then. Now she's taken the lead and being the leader. But it started with that word. And then it started with me putting it on the documentation of even our new um, articles of incorporation for the company that we just purchased. You have to rewrite for the new, who's the new, um, the phases of the business and like who's in charge of what. And, chief executive officer is the highest level in a business besides shareholders, of course. But as far as running the business, and then you got chief operations officer. So it's the different officers of the company. So when you have a business and a corporation, you list out the orders of who does what, who are your officers, who are your leaders. You have to declare it in writing. So I put that in writing that we are co-CEO. Now I could have just put her as a CEO. I don't even need a title. But I also recognize that we are buying a company from a man. And I'm smart enough to know that when you're buying a company from a man that's been running it and his dad ran it before he did, that there better be a man involved just because of the world we live in and it's a small town. Again, could she hold her own? 100%. 100%. But just again, now pushing her up and saying, you got this. I'm just going to support you. I'm going to create all the little systems in the background and for you to create the foundation for you to build this company on. And she's doing it. She's connecting with the team members. She's connecting with the clients. She's on the phone all day. She's booking appointments. She's setting schedules. Like she's in the trenches working with these guys and getting stuff done and training up our team members too as well, answering the phones and creating the processes. You see what I mean? Like again, it's super powerful. But part of empowering your wife, part of empowering the woman you're dating, part of building a relationship with a woman is to help her believe in herself too. Just as like the same she is going to do for you, what you want her to do for you to help you believe and help you to, how do I say this? Help you when you're not feeling confident to speak into you and support you and help you to have more courage and confidence when you're lacking it, you better do it to her too then. That's the bottom line. That's what empowering does. And empowering is not just words, man. It's actions. And it's leave the country and trust the results, trust, release, control the outcome. My wife's taught me that too. Powerful words. And I have to. I have to trust the leadership. Stop micromanaging. She tells me all the time. And so I'm like, okay. I release, I go to Mexico, and the deal is way better than anything I could have done. I mean, again, we've done these things together, but that was even what she shared was how she's like, when she really thought about it, she's like, yeah, I've gone to all the trainings with Carlos. I've been there with him through all the different strategies, all the investments we've made, all the businesses we've built and developed. We've been doing it together. Why can't I take the lead on this business? Why not me? And she rose up. Now, what does that mean, man? What does that mean for you? Well, imagine that your wife stepped up and started running and taking the lead position on a multi-million dollar business, right? On a legacy business. But what does that do? Like you can do other things, like you just duplicated and scaled. And it's the person that you trust. You should be able to trust more than anybody on the planet. And probably, if I'm real, here's another empowering statement, is you probably should trust her more than you trust yourself. I'm going to say that again. Are you willing to trust her more than you trust yourself, man? Why is that important? Because she can see things you can't see. And by the way, she should feel the same way about you, that you would see things that maybe she has a blind spot because of a story she has from her childhood or trauma she went through. Same thing as you, man. You have them too. You have blind spots, you have areas where you're like, ah, and she's like, why are you freaking out? Why are you having issues with this? Just do this, this, and this. But if you don't empower her or believe she can do it, guess what? She won't. And especially with the high control religion you come from, or even the honor that is put for men, and even how it's talked about in religious circles of like the man is the head of the household, right? The spiritual head. You know what I say about that? Look, you yoke together, you're equal in power, strength, and like responsibility and spirituality. You're equal, but somebody has to be the one to take the brunt of things. And that's why God gave us testosterone. The physical makeup is different. Yes. Can we handle more hours? Physiology, yes, because that's how He created us. But that doesn't mean that they're any less than us or that we are superior over them. God never says that in His Word. And I will challenge anybody that says that. So empowering starts with your mindset and how you see your bride. Do you think she needs a break? Do you think that she needs, like, she was doing great before you come along? Like, and some of you, maybe you married her when she was a teenager. I know the Amish way, sometimes it happens younger, you start dating. But if you are older in life and you saw your wife and you saw how powerful she was doing this, she had these results and these results, and then all of a sudden she shrunk back when you came along, it happens, man. I've seen it time and time again. I saw it with my wife. We're just now getting to the place where I'm like, babe, you're a good speaker. Babe, you're an incredible leader. Babe, you're an amazing CEO. And she's doing it. So learn from what I know and understand of empowering a woman. And my goodness, your life will never be the same. Your life will be blessed, but also don't try to cushion it. Like Chantel gets up early as well. Chantel's like, let's do our Epic 30. And this morning she's like, okay, I'm gonna get up a little bit earlier because we got to do this video before we head out because it doesn't work when we travel. Driving doesn't work. It keeps cutting the cell phone off. So we've got to do our video before we head out, but we still got to get our Epic 30. She's like, let's go. I'm with you. I'm like, let's go. Yes. All right. Gonna get up extra early. Great. I'm on board. Right? Because I'm up at 4:30, and so she's pushing her time frame back. Do I believe that women need more sleep than men? Yes, that's the answer, 100%. So let's honor our wives. I have two rules of thumb for our wives, just so you know. I truly believe that it is important and powerful for you to go to sleep when your wife goes to sleep. You can do this. Now, it's the rule that I have. There's always exceptions. There are times I got to work on projects late. There are times I got to do stuff. So then if you're going to bed at the same time, man, and testosterone, this is the truth, physiology says physically, we don't require as much sleep. Okay? It's just the truth. Again, I know it's good to have good sleep. I'm not against sleep. I'm just letting you know. 7 hours, there's tons of research out there. They always told us 8 because most people don't do what they're told. They're always going to do a little less than what they're told. But 7 is truly the premium. Okay? Go do your own research. But why am I saying this? Because again, if we're going to bed at the same time as our wives and we're doing maybe 6 hours sleep or 7 hours, right? We can handle it better than our wives can. That's the truth. Estrogen needs more sleep naturally, okay? It's real. There's always an exception. I know everyone's going to challenge it. I get it. That's fine. I don't care. Go do your own research. But estrogen requires, because again, in different seasons, women will sleep different times. But the reality is, they need a little bit more sleep for more healing. So I would say that women definitely 7, but men could probably get away with and be okay with around 6. I know, weird, right? I'm not saying you don't try to get 7, and I'm not saying that women shouldn't get 8 and men get 7. You decide, but I'm just letting you know that you can do it, man. You have it in you. That's part of our physiology. A little extra, a little more strength physically, and a little bit more stamina physically. It's been proven time and time again. That's why men should not be in women's sports. Now, women being in men, go for it. Like if you want to try to work with them or do the same as man, that's fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Quick funny story. I was a freshman in high school. Some of you heard this story before. Proof. I'm a freshman in high school. The girls' seniors, they had a undefeated seniors girls basketball team at our high school. And the girls were like, "Oh, we're so good. We're undefeated, state champions. We want to play the boys." And the coach of the varsity boys like, "It's different, y'all. You girls are good. You haven't lost a game. I get it. A lot of seniors on your team. Great. You're undefeated. Awesome. Congratulations. It's different. It's different. Men are made up different." And they just kept on and kept on. "We can do it. We want to challenge the boys." And finally, the varsity coach of the boys, one of my favorite coaches of all time, Mr. Paul Nelson, he says, "Yes, okay, ladies. Okay, here's what we'll do. We're going to let you play our freshman boys. Okay? I'm going to let you do that. You're undefeated, but just know it's different. There's physical makeup. It's different, totally different. You guys are awesome. Great job. But we'll do a little exhibition game. You can play our freshman boys. How's that?" And I happened to be on the freshman boys team that year. And by the way, one of my really, really good friends was a senior that year, Kim Sharp, and was one of the star basketball players. So I got to guard her, and I was only a freshman. Needless to say, they did score some points, but we absolutely killed them. I think it was like 100 to like less than 20 or something. We just like, it's just different. And they were undefeated for the girls, state champions. Never lost a game in the women's group. Like that was great. But us little freshman boys, we ain't even finished growing yet, right? We're just whipped them. Like it wasn't even a match. And they were demoralized. They were like all hyped up, thought they were going to whip us. And it's just different. Again, I 100% agree with Donald Trump. Men do not belong in women's sports. And it's just not even fair. It's not real. And that's the example that I have. I lived it. And it's the coolest thing ever because, oh my goodness, Kim Sharp is a good friend of mine. And she was a senior. She was a star player on their team. And I shut her down. And it was like, it was interesting because I was just a freshman and we're really good friends. And she was kind of upset after that because it was so demoralizing. They hadn't lost a single game all season. And then they just get spanked like they didn't know how to play basketball. But again, it's because there's totally different physiology. Okay. So my point in saying that is, man, you can handle it. Be a man. But I will challenge you to go to bed with your wife at night. Make that part of your target. Why? Because that's part of connection. That's part of love, part of bonding. Read a book together. Share some scriptures together. Work on some sprouts or things that things you accomplished in the day. Do some gratitude at the end of the night. End with something beneficial. Chantel and I are enjoying reading a leadership book right now together. And she falls asleep every time I read. I'm like, have this have this effect on her. And I'm cool with that. And then I just stop reading. I read a few pages and go to sleep. But she loves it. She's like, "Will you read?" I'm like, "Yeah, heck yeah." So again, I want to encourage you because this is all part of empowering. We lead by example, men. But then we believe in our wives that they can do more. Sometimes they're shrinking back because you're shrinking back. I want you to grab a hold of this for a minute. If you shrink back, your wife, out of honor, could probably outdo you in business or outdo you in whatever you're working on, sales, strategies, developing a company, working with your team. But out of honor, because you shrunk back, she shrinks back to honor you because she loves you. It's time, man, to eliminate that. And how do we eliminate it? Well, first of all, we get going. We give it our all. We don't make excuses. We don't shrink back. We trust in the dunamis, the power, love, and sound mind because he hasn't given us the spirit of fear. And our wives know that in their spirit. They know it better than we do. They understand women are like hyper spiritual. So they read that verse and like, okay, if God said it, then I'm going to do it. Right? It's super awesome. But that doesn't mean they're up here or we're up here. It's God trying to equalize things. When you empower your wife, You're empowering yourself, man. You're going to have more sex. You're going to have more adventures. You're going to have more fun. You're going to have more money. You're going to have more results. You're going to have more territory, more real estate, more. It goes on and on. God's promise. You yoke 3 times the results. I can attach it to the practical. It's real with the oxen. Why would God make it any less for us? He loves us. He says, look, I provide for the birds. What more I would provide for you? Well, it's the same thing here. We know that in nature, 2 ox come together, bovine, bovine, steer, cow, cows, 2 cows come together, male or female, and they yoke up. They're both 1,000 pounds, hypothetically. By themselves, they can pull 2,000 pounds. Okay? You're powerful. You can pull 2,000 pounds. You put a male and female bovine together, they both weigh 1,000 pounds. They pull 3 times their weight. It's been recorded, documented. It's real. It happens. So you've got 2,000 pounds, and instead of only pulling 4,000, if they just pull double 3 times, now they're pulling 6,000 pounds. Hello, 6,000 pounds. Are you with me? Will you empower your wives and stop having an ego and push her to do more? Push her to be greater because she has it in her. But she's shrinking back because you're shrinking back. She's trying to honor you. And it's your time to step up, man. And your time to go, let's go, babe. I got a plan. I want to do this, this, and this. It's going to really challenge us. But what do you think? Are you with me? Can you handle it? We're going to do more in less time. We're going to go ahead and take on a little bit more because we got what it takes. We got the skills and we're doing it together. God says we can do 3 times more when we do it together. Will you be with me in this? I got you. I got you. Boom, let's go, babe. I got you. You believe in me that I can keep up with you? I got you. And there's little things like that. Going to bed at the same time. Earlier, the Chantel asked me that. She goes, all right. She says, then I'm going to leave it up to you if we're getting up earlier, which I won't be. I get to bed at the same time. I mean, I get up at 4:30. No, but actually, I will. You know what? I'm going to tell her tonight. I'll get up at 4 instead of 4:30 because she's willing to get up earlier, right? What will that help me do? Prepare for my 5 o'clock better. I'm actually tapping into some training that I need. And it's really going to be the only time I'm going to have to do this training. So it's real. All right, babe. Because what does she challenge me? She says, you know, for me to get up earlier, we got to go to bed earlier. We got to get our butts in bed earlier. 10-4, babe. I'm on it. Yes, I'm with you. 100%. Let's do it. But you can lead as men because I know I told her I desire us going to bed at the same time. So I've got to be able to cut it off. And whatever I'm trying to do at night, do it in the morning, right? I told you we're doing a digital fast anyways. Like we're not on social media. We're working late tonight. So we will be like I'm with you. But after this, I cut it off 6 o'clock. We're done. I don't get on social media after 6 anymore. I will text and call people, relationship stuff, but I'm not plugging into any videos, any like online stuff. I'm not posting. I'm not reposting. Again, it's something our church asked us to do, and I'm with them. Like, can we unplug from social media? Are we going to die? I'm like, no, I can. I do it for work. But outside of that, yes. So my cut work at 6. So again, my point in saying this is like, what can I do? My wife says, hey, I want to get up earlier. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have to bump all this up a little earlier. So then if you want to do our video before we leave and go to the office, then we're gonna have to wake up earlier. And she's like, then we got to go to bed earlier. Okay, I'll make it happen. So instead of 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's gonna have to be 9 or 9:30. That's the reality every night, right? And again, so my point in saying that is like that's how we empower our wives. We work with them. We treat them as equals in the sense of their mental, their strategies, their incredible understanding of things, especially if you've been on a journey for a while together. And then here's the biggest thing. Do not shrink back and encourage her to be shiny conquerors. Encourage her to shine a little bit more. Lift her up and say, go for it. You got this. I want you to lead this. Because chances are, even though they know they're powerful, even though they've had experience, probably maybe even a little bit more than us in sales and strategies and business and in whatever systems or things, possibly they're shrinking back because you are. And so, are you willing? Are you willing to be able to acknowledge their strengths, be able to acknowledge their power, um, and empowering your wife means you use your strength to help her flourish. You're not in competition with her. You're not controlling her. You're empowering her. You're helping her to flourish with everything you have. So just like that, I know Chantel knows I desire that we go to bed at the same time. We're going to do it. So that means I got to go to bed earlier. And I'm okay with that. But I'm going to lead in that. We're going to start reading at 9 o'clock then instead of 9:30. You know what I mean? So we'll be asleep by 9:30. That's an extra half hour instead of 10. You follow me? Like there's little things that you can do. And so what are you willing to do? Are you willing to say too that you can learn from her? I want to learn from you. Man, when we do videos together, I look at her, I'm like, this is amazing. This is good stuff. I'm taking notes. I'm doing just as if I would do for anybody that I was learning from. If you were sitting in front of a billionaire that was going to give you advice and you were paying $250,000 to be able to learn from this guy for 45 minutes or an hour, I think you'd record it. I think you'd take notes. I think you'd, right? So, can we do the same for our wives? That empowers them. They feel honored. Like, whoa. And especially when you quote them, you're like, you know what? Chantel says this. And then that's empowering them. That's showing that what her words matter. That's showing that she is equal to you by your words and by what you're saying. So she wants to be seen. She wants to be valued. And she wants you to be thankful for her, grateful to her. Seen, valued, and grateful. Super powerful things. But it starts with you, man. It does. It starts with you. It starts with you stepping up and being shiny conquerors, being willing to be confident, even though you don't feel it. And then being willing to lift her up too as well. That's why what we do with Epic 30 matters. That process and doing it back and forth and connecting with your spouse and your children is all about languaging of edification, honor, belief, gratitude, edification, honor, belief, gratitude. It matters and it makes a difference. Please know that's why we have these core activities. Triggers to Triumph, Epic 30, and MVP. Why? Because it makes a difference in you and those around you. Do it. Don't make excuses. Do it. Don't skim. Do it. Do your best to do it every weekday, at least 5 days a week. Because the repetition helps you to believe. The repetition helps her to believe. That's how we empower our words and our actions. And then releasing control of the outcome and saying, you got this. I believe in you. I don't need to do this. You got this. And then let her do it. And trust and believe. I hope this is helpful, man. And there's more where this came from. I love this topic, and I think it's so appropriate for this time in my life of watching my wife rise up to be one of the most powerful CEOs I've ever seen. Connectors, communicators, like she is a master at these things. So to be able to implement that into a service business, beautiful, beautiful. I'm grateful for it. She's mentored many others and taught them how to do it. She's mentored me and given me skills and validation and communication and empathy, and I'm super grateful. What will you do to empower your wife? What will you do to believe? What will you do to learn from her? And what will you do to lift her up? It makes a difference. God bless you. Thanks for being here. And I hope this message finds you well, and I hope you'll continue to grow and continue to learn. I hope you'll empower your wife this week.